Hey folks, this is Alan Gingrich here with an exclusive offer for our Hunting Ops podcast listeners only. We're giving you a 10% discount for all UKC gear and apparel. To place your order and get your exclusive discount, go to the shop at ukcdogs.com and use the discount code HUNTUKC, all uppercase and all one word. And thank you for tuning into our podcast.
On this week's episode, I'm joined by Doug Cundiff, and we're going to talk about the historically successful Deer Creek Coon Hunters Association over in Greencastle, Indiana. You'll want to hang tight for this one.
You're listening to the UKC Hunting Ops podcast, celebrating hunting dog heritage, competition, and community. United Kennel Club has been the hunting dog sports home for coonhounds, beagles, retrievers, pointers, cur, feist, and more for over 125 years.
Welcome back to the UKC Hunting Ops podcast. This is Trevor Wade. I'm the Coonhound Program Manager at UKC. And today I'm joined by a special guest, actually one of our UKC field reps, and has been for a long time, Mr. Doug Cundiff. What's going on today, Doug?
Oh, not much. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. We've had an awesome couple days. Actually recording this here as we're at our 2025 UKC World Championship here on Friday night. Kind of got a little bit of a lull. Alan's out there playing some music for everybody. I thought we might sneak out before the action starts, but man, it's been another fun World Championship weekend.
Sure has. First night went real well. Put 104 dogs in the woods and didn't have no questions. Went really smooth.
Yeah, it seemed like everybody was in a good mood. Super respectful. I don't know if you did personally, but I didn't get any of the complaints about guides or judges or just unhappy people like you sometimes can get at these major events. Seemed like everybody that came back was in a super respectful, nice mood.
Yeah, everybody seemed like they had a good time. They said the cast everybody was real sportsmanlike in the cast and had a good night.
Yeah, and they scored a bunch of coons, and that always helps keep the morale up, I think, a little bit.
It sure does.
Well, you're no stranger to putting on these events. Now I know you've been a field. Do you remember when you started field repping for us?
It's been about 21 years, I think, close to it. 21
years. You started right around when Alan did, right?
I started a year after Alan.
I'll be dang. Yeah, that's right. So it would have been probably. Have you gone to a bunch of the World Championships? Did you come here last time it was in Portland in 05?
Yes. Yep.
You were? Okay.
Yep.
So
I've missed one world hunt the whole time I've been a field rep.
Yeah, man, it's a fun event to put on. I know it's got a historical significance and just kind of a hunt that everybody wants to shoot for to win one time in their life. But man, I always kind of feel like it's an honor to see people move on through this and ultimately see that person whose life changes on Saturday night. That's kind of a special moment.
Yeah, I got to sit through that a couple years ago. My son-in-law won it with Cookie.
Yeah.
And even though I didn't have much involvement in it, it was still family.
Yeah.
And it was really pretty neat.
Hey, it's kind of, before we get into what we're going to talk about today, it's kind of hard to sit on this side of the table and you see all these other people achieving this lifelong dream that, hey, we probably had the same dream at one point in time to win a hunt like this and to be competitive on this level, but somebody has to sit on this side of the table, and it's kind of an honor to be able to do it and to put on a first-class event for the people that are out there trying to chase it.
Yep.
Yeah. So today we're actually the first of a series I'm wanting to do here. Alan's got the Undisputed series, talking to some guys about some dogs they liked in history and their personal hunting style. And I kind of wanted to go a different way with a series here, and I don't have a catchy name yet, and maybe I'll get some help with that down the road. But I want to talk about some historically successful clubs and especially ones that have been around for a while. And I think starting with the Deer Creek Coon Hunters Association in Greencastle, Indiana, man, Greencastle. That is a name that is just synonymous with coonhound events and a club that's been around forever, and it just is deep rooted in UKC's history. You see that location pop up a lot through UKC's history. Growing up in that area, man, is coon hunting. I mean, I know there's still a lot there, not near as many as there used to be back in the day, but you guys still have a strong base of coon hunters there within an hour of you. Still pretty important in your country.
Yes. Sure is. We got probably 4 or 5 clubs right there within 45 minutes to an hour. And we all kind of hang out and work together to keep the clubs going.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you guys probably sacrifice some dates. You guys sometimes aren't able to have a full slate. I've seen you have to change dates to accommodate other clubs, and you got to have that kind of stuff. Clubs got to work together to be successful. It is what it is. You got to work with your surrounding clubs, and there's so many events. You gotta do that. But going back a little bit, I know I told you about this a couple weeks ago, and I think you did some digging for me. But Deer Creek Coon Hunters Association, when do you know about when that club got or originated or got started?
Yeah, it got started in 1953 by when I was a young kid, by a guy named of Manfred Craver, Charlie Nugent, and then Frank Sims, Raymond Sutherland, Woody Sutherland, Don Craddock, a lot of them older guys, which, they've all passed on, but they built that club by hand.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of hunts there, and that's originally where the Autumn Oak started at.
Yeah.
I think it was like 1961 or something like that when it started, and I left Greencastle when I was 13. I think it left in 1979.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. It's you mentioned some names there that are, if people have been listening to this podcast for the past several years, we've mentioned a lot of times, and talking about Autumn Oak's history, obviously, and also not just talking about that, but talking about the origin of our night hunt rules that we use today. You talk about guys like Manfred Craver and some of the other guys you mentioned who had such a big hand in creating the coonhound events that we saw today. We did the history of the night hunts, and man, that's a 53. That's back before even the rules were established.
Yeah.
These guys were getting together and putting on probably just club hunts or different things like that, just to be around other coon hunters.
Yeah, they had a lot of grade hunts back then.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't really have a whole lot of registered dogs, and if they were registered, they hunted in the grade hunts.
Yeah.
So, but like Manfred Craver and Charlie Nugent and them guys, I can't remember Fred Miller's father-in-law, but anyway, he's the one. They helped establish the UKC rules, though, with Manfred Craver.
Yeah. Going back to just some of the research that I did for the podcast and talking about it, he was such a stickler and being able to kind of fine comb and go through some rules and fine tuning them, and just a really sharp guy. A guy would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in some of those conversations they had about those first rules, and just I'd like to pick his brain on some of the things, because it may be easy to sit here and think about it today, but imagine at the end, you look at those first scorecards and the thought that went into that. It's kind of a special guy.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward a little bit. Your dad became an integral part of I'll say UKC period, because I know he was a field rep for a long time, but he was a big part of this club, I'm sure.
Yeah. Dad, we know I lost my dad back in October.
Yeah.
Been about a year. But he served as master hounds for years at the Autumn Oak.
Yeah.
And then he was field rep for a long time with UKC, and then when he kind of stepped down, Alan asked me to step in Dad's place, and it's been the way it's been ever since.
Been a Cundiff sitting behind the table for a long time.
Long time, exactly.
Yeah, hey, you're right. At Autumn Oaks, the very first Autumn Oaks, actually 1961, the first two Autumn Oaks, and then skip a couple years, and I'm not sure where it went, Michigan or whatever, but then consecutively from 1964 to 1978, Greencastle, Indiana. And for a lot of people, you talk to a lot of the people who have been around this sport for a long time, and some of the key breeders and the key competition hunters, and some of our dogs that are the foundation of the dogs you see today, when they refer to Autumn Oaks and when they think back to Autumn Oaks, they think about Autumn Oaks in Greencastle, Indiana. Yeah. You got to go to several of these? I
got to go quite a bit of them and sit through them all. At least I was born in '66, so I got to see at least 13 years of it there at Greencastle. But there was one cast I can remember real special. I got to go and kind of sit in the truck, and it was a year that Spring Creek Rock won the World Hunt. Won the Autumn Oak.
Okay.
My dad guided him.
Wow. Yeah.
And I just remember my dad coming back, and he said, that's one of the best dogs I've ever been in the woods with.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that sticks in my mind, because even till the day my dad passed away, he could always remember that hunt.
Yeah.
So
one of the names that has withstood the test of time, one of two dogs to ever win Autumn Oaks 2 times.
Yep.
Him and Mr. Clean. So just a dog that'll be forever remembered. But yep. So it's there at the fairgrounds in the city where or they're at the fairgrounds that I've been to before, I'm guessing.
Yep, it's been there for a long time.
What was it? I bet that place was absolutely packed.
It was packed, but it's even at Richmond, like this past year. I mean, we couldn't hold it there today. Yeah. I mean, it's got so big over the years, but I can remember people parking out there in their campers and have them everywhere, and of course they had a band always there on Friday nights. And there'd be people from the town of Greencastle come in to listen to the band at Autumn Oak.
That's awesome.
I mean, just when they found out that was going on, that was one of the big things in the town of Greencastle. The people welcomed it. Yeah. Because it brought a lot of money into that town. Yeah. So, yeah, there was a lot. It's not changed much over the years, but it's got bigger. Autumn Oak's got a lot bigger.
I'm trying to imagine, now it's – if you go to the fairgrounds and around it you guys have a city, you guys have restaurants and hotels, you have the downtown, but back then I assumed that it was way less businesses and restaurants and hotels and accommodations like that. But man could just about hunt anywhere back in those days, right?
Yep. There was like one restaurant. I mean, of course, we run the kitchen and you had the stuff there, but we had one restaurant right across from the fairgrounds, and it was called the Roadway. Oh, and everybody, that's where everybody went for breakfast and stuff like that. But yeah, we didn't have the McDonald's and stuff like that, or the Mexican restaurants.
A Holiday Inn, not up on the hill over there.
We didn't have Holiday Inn. Everybody just kind of camped there.
Yeah. Man, that is awesome. I would have loved to seen what Autumn Oaks looked like back then. I know it probably different the way vendors look and different the way they do things, but man, those was the origin of an event that has lasted forever, and that did be super successful to still be going on here 60 years later. That's crazy.
Yep.
And now fast forward now to the 2020s, and Autumn Oaks, you guys hosted the first Autumn Oaks ever, and now you guys actually hosted something that's a main part of UKC today. Obviously Autumn Oaks is as well as our World Championship, but I think a lot of us would agree that the thing that really has boosted UKC over the past several years is our tournament champions.
Yep.
And when Alan and I went, when it first got announced, it was in my first year. I had actually just a couple months in, and a lot of my first tasks at UKC was kind of putting together expense reports and cost stuff, trying to prepare for this event that we announced at Autumn Oaks that first year. And when we talked about where to go for the finals location, I'm still green then. I don't know a lot about clubs in the area, but it was a pretty easy choice for Alan to want to put it in Greencastle, Indiana. So your club should take some pride in that. But first you do the first Autumn Oaks, and then you get the first Tournament Champions, and the Tournament Champions is such a successful, kind of a pivotal event for UKC. You guys got to take a little bit of pride in that, I assume, right?
It is kind of nice, and it takes a lot of work, and a lot of us local boys getting guides and stuff like Tyler Pettit and Bob Stockup and Cody Carter and me all work to get these guides. Yeah. I mean, it's a tough job, but I mean, the Tournament of Champions was a big thing and still a big thing, and we've enjoyed the last 5 or 6 years of doing it. Yeah. But it's just one of them things. It's tough on just 2 or 3 people anymore.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Getting all the guides, and we both know how it is getting guides and judges. I lean on you a lot when we need to get judges, and just getting people to commit. There's so much going on these days, man. Imagine these days compared to, and I know in these first Autumn Oaks, they all had non-hunting judges, so imagine it back then. But, man, nowadays – ball games are year-round. You don't ever have a week off from ball. It's year-round or you fall behind. Yep. There's so much going on. It's such a fast-paced world that we live in now, and getting people to commit and stay committed can be so tough. But, man, you guys have done such an awesome job with the Tournament Champions, and honestly, it wouldn't be as successful as it is today without your guys' work. So I hope you guys realize that. But, man, that's going to be a cool thing to talk about if this event withstands the test of time, similar to Autumn Oaks has, and 20, 30 years from now we can talk about, them first 5-6 years of the Tournament Champions were at Greencastle, Indiana.
Yeah. It's a pretty good honor to hold the first Autumn Oaks and the first Tournament of Champions. Yeah. And we've had a couple world hunts there.
Yeah, that's actually next on my list here, 1994 and 2016 World Championships. So let's rewind to 1994, and I believe that's the year that Dick Brothers
Dick
won, right?
Brothers won it with Tara.
Tara, yeah. How involved were you in that World
I
Championship?
guided that final cast.
Did you?
Yes, I guided that final cast, and it was pouring down rain that night. It was awful. We were sitting out there, and it was raining so bad. We had a black and tan dog, and I can't remember what the guy's name was, but it was raining so bad, the black and tan dog come and got underneath one of our judges' raincoats that it hung all the way to the ground.
Yeah.
And the only thing you could see out of that dog was his tail wagging out from underneath that judge's raincoat.
So man, 94, you would have been 29, 30 years old probably?
I've been 29.
Yeah, late 20s. So that's kind of a big honor to be able to do that back then. That's
yeah.
And Dick Brothers, it's kind of hard he's the guy still able to compete with his hounds today. That's an awesome thing to see somebody. So that was the first world champion you ever saw face to face get crowned, huh?
Yep, exactly. It was.
Yeah.
I can remember the tree she even won it on. It was a big woolly tree, and she had the coon.
Yeah.
But it was a rough night treeing coons. I mean, it rained.
Yeah. And in those days, now we have the full elimination format rules, but and I can understand this with UKC events is when you're guiding, and I remember guiding for zones and other major events. You have a little bit of you feel like you have to get those dogs under a coon somehow.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the weather. They have to have plus points, or you could end up without a world champion. That's a scary thought. But
yeah, it was rough. But
yeah.
we got her done.
So the World Championship in 1994 would have been different than we see today. You guys would have had 2 rounds on Thursday. We would have had the hunt alone round late.
Yep.
Thursday. On Friday would have had 2 rounds probably to get to your final cast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Steve. This is how long Steve Fielder was in Allen's position at the time.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. I guess Todd Killam would have been around then.
Yeah, he was around then.
Yeah, he started in '88, so I'm sure he was still going to coonhound events at that time. Yeah. Man, different times, different. Fast forward to 2016, and you're a field rep now, but then are you still 2016? Did you ever take a step away from being leadership at Deer Creek at the Deer Creek Club, or were you always kind of involved with that, or did you ever take a back seat and just compete or field rep?
No, I kind of stepped back there for a while because we had a guy named Tom Hacker that run our club, but I had to step back because my daughter was in travel ball, softball, and there was a lot of times that I couldn't make stuff like that. So I might have been a director or something for our club at the time, but I really wasn't much involved there I'd still go to the hunts and stuff like that when I could, but with her playing travel ball like on the weekends and stuff, it didn't give me much time to be involved with the club.
Yeah. So that would have been – so I actually made a note here. We had I tried to jot down some names as I was going through your guys' club file, and different times when I saw different names that actually stood out to me. And I noticed these names because I see them on our guide list when we have tournament champions there. Mid-2000s, guys like you said, Tom Hacker, Mike Comer was an officer at the time.
Yep.
Larry Steve Sheldon, he was an officer. I made a note here, both in the early 80s and also the mid-2000s.
Yep, and he's still involved today.
Is it? These are all still guys who guide for you.
Yeah, but we lost Mike Comer about a year ago.
Oh, man.
And he always one of the guys that guided our final cast in the TOC there for 3 or 4 years.
Am I mistaken, or was Mike Comer the one who guided us at the 2020 pre-Arena National Finals?
He was
yeah.
exactly the one that guided him.
Yeah, that what a spot that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys were pretty involved in pre-Arena Nationals for several years?
Yeah, we were involved with that for at least 3 or 4 years, and then it kind of faded away and then went to the Tournament of Champions.
Right. Yeah, when we got our new partnership with Yukonuba, obviously we couldn't put on Purina Nationals ourselves. Obviously, Purina does a lot of things otherwise for the clubs and associations out there, but Yukonuba afforded us the ability to do the Tournament Champions. But with you guys obviously losing out on Purina Nationals, getting the Tournament Champions took its place there. But that was kind of a fun event, Purina Nationals. That was getting all the different breeds of dog there is super neat.
Yeah. They all hunted together when their breeds hunted together. So. And
then you're down to we got down to, I'm trying to remember here because I only got to go to one of them. I started in 2019, so 2020 was the only one I ever went to, and it was the last one. Got down to 8 hounds, and they hunted heads up. At the 8 hounds were made of the 7 breed winners from the previous night, and then also the overall point dog for the year got a bye to that semifinal.
The semifinals,
And, man, that final cast was that was the first time I really got to know Tyler and Cody.
Cody.
Talking about Tyler Pettit and Cody Carter.
Yep.
And I think they were both involved in that final cast in some capacity. I think Cody actually judged it, and man, we had an old fashioned coon shootout. They treated a bunch of coons in that man's woods back there.
They did, and that was a good place.
Yeah. Most people, when they think Indiana, we're in Portland, Indiana right now, and if you looked outside, it's about as flat as a pancake. But there's spots and pockets in Indiana and around Greencastle where you can get in some hills.
Yeah, you can get some pretty nasty hills around Homer.
Yeah, and I think I've climbed several of them.
You probably have.
More on the Tournament of Champions, it feels like I walk more down the blacktop roads though than those dogs don't.
Yeah, it's just easier to walk the roads to the dogs.
Yeah, I don't know why those cats seem to always want to get a little deeper.
Yeah,
but
they didn't like them hills and hollers either.
That's a fact. All right, let's go a little bit different route here. And we talked about this a little bit. We actually talked about it a couple of times. You guys have such a successful RQE. And I went through your guys' club file. Our online system goes back to 1988. And by the best I could tell, the first RQE that you guys had was in 1991. Yeah. And since the very first one, you had the last weekend in August before Labor Day weekend, before Autumn Oaks.
Yep.
Yeah.
We draw a lot of dogs that come, people going to Autumn Oak, they'll stop in there and hunt that RQE. We've had guys from Florida stop in there, Kentucky, Tennessee. So usually we get a pretty good turnout. I remember one of our first RQEs, it was back when our club couldn't hunt in it. We had to have hunting judges.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, non-hunting judges.
Yeah.
So we'd have to scrape, and you'd have to come up. Sometimes we'd have 120, 130 dogs at RQE.
I was going to say, you want to take a stab at what your entry was in 1991 and your very first RQE. You're not even established really. You're an established club, but this is your first qualifier.
I'm going to say probably about 120.
It's 111 is what it was, and you probably who knows what if you had great dogs or whatever at that time, but 111. I know back then, and I've just read about it. Obviously, it's long gone now with the way it is. We have so many qualifiers now, and you just never see. It would be so hard for a club to put on a qualifier with 100 dogs anymore.
We couldn't do it.
You have to, like for a 100-dog hunt, you got to plan on that for months.
Yeah,
you can't just be surprised with 100 dogs. But in those days, man, you had to have enough non-hunting. You had to have enough non-hunting judges for that.
Yep.
But then also you're a member of the Century Club there. Something I've read about. You guys were memorialized probably for getting over 100 entries at your event, and the reps then got this was probably could have been your dad that was the master of hounds of this first one. Yeah,
yep.
He was probably a big driving force in you guys getting this RQE.
Yep.
Still today, so for people people come up the weekend before, they ought to make their way over there. How far is your clubhouse from Richmond, Indiana, the fairgrounds there?
It's about 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yep,
yeah.
It's a 2 hour drive, and it's right straight down 70.
Yeah. And you guys always have an awesome RQE. I think even this year you had close to 40 dogs.
I think we had 36 or 37, something like I think.
Yeah, I think it was. I think I actually made note of it here. This it was tied for the second biggest RQE this year. That wasn't like a breed association. Mm-hmm. So second biggest RQE this year. That's a pretty awesome thing to take back to your club. But man, super cool stuff there. You guys were the satellite club for Autumn Oaks for a long time. Also, once it moved to Richmond.
Yep, for a long time. I think 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
But it just got to be so much a struggle for them guys to drive there 2 hours and then drive back, because 70 a lot of times had road construction. You can't. It's always awful.
I was going to say I think you guys were a satellite club in the first year that I worked there, the first 2 years. And 70 is always under construction.
Always under construction from Greencastle to Richmond. There's something there every time.
That is so funny. So funny. You guys, I looked through there. What other events do you guys put on there at Deer Creek present day? You guys have a youth event?
Yeah, we have a youth event. We didn't have it the last couple of years, but I think we're going to try to pick back up on it.
Yeah.
And the very first one, I think we had like 20-some kids.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to pick it back up on it. We got a lot of other little hunts. Like we still try to have like club hunts, but you don't see that much anymore. We draw in some people from like other clubs just to have a little buddy hunt.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. So you guys still meet up for for that. Do you guys have so to keep your membership coming and keep them involved? Do you guys have monthly meetings or bi-monthly meetings or regular meetings?
We try to usually, like when we get ready to have the big events like the TOC, we usually try to get together a couple of times.
Yeah.
But we used to go like every other Friday, like the second and fourth Friday in the month.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys have got kids involved and stuff, so now we're getting ready to have a meeting. We just kind of let everybody know like a month ahead of time when we're going to have one.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the way, social media and group text and everything else have made it so easy where you can almost have a meeting by texting everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
To do things like that, but that's pretty funny. I kind of, again, I went back through the history of your event, and our online system goes back to 1988, and I just thought it was interesting. So you guys, even back then in 1988, you got to think there was so many less clubs then. I mean, isn't there more clubs now than there used to be then?
Yeah, probably, but there was always right around that area.
Yeah.
I could always remember, like, I couldn't wait for my dad to get home on a Friday night because I'd have his stuff ready to go to hunt.
You could about travel to any weekend there?
Any weekend. We could have went any place, hour and a half.
Yeah. I'm curious, what were some of was Brazil around back then?
No, Brazil wasn't around back then, but they had another club that was around Terre Haute, Indiana.
Okay.
Which it's not there no more. And then we still had like Clay City, Coon Club, Rockville, Ellettsville.
And Rockville's kind of made a comeback the past 3 or 4 years.
They've made a comeback. They've got a real nice building up there. Got a bunch of they got a bunch of older guys in there. But it's like every other club. We need to get some young guys involved.
Yeah.
But we could drive to. I'm telling you, we could drive to 6 or 7 clubs within an hour and a half of the house.
Yeah. Looking back, even then, I was going to say you guys only had 4 dates all the way up until 1996, which seems like that's almost present day in 96, but really you think about it's 30 years ago.
30 years ago. Yeah.
But for so long, you guys only had 3 or 4 dates, and I don't know, probably wasn't the worst thing to have less options for people now.
That's true.
Now between we're just talking about UKC. You guys probably have a full slate of UKC events.
Yeah, we
now.
got a full slate.
But then you also do other registry events as well.
Yeah, we still got PKC. Just mainly our club just runs PKC and UKC hunts.
Yeah.
So that's basically all we got to do. That's all we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've been talking about some of the new things you guys are going to try to do. You're going to try to pick up the youth hunts you guys have had, and I think we're probably going to try to iron out maybe a pro slam over in your area. So hopefully people make some plans to come do that. Thinking of doing maybe $300 one to start out. Yeah,
I think we're going to kind of wait till spring and try to do that now.
Yeah.
Because got a lot of deer hunters and season's getting ready to come
October
in.
1st,
yeah,
right?
October 1st. So we don't want to interrupt any of that.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to kind of wait till spring now.
Yeah.
Try to schedule a couple of 3 and see how them go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's we can kind of end this here. We're in the top 27 of our world championship, and I know you got a couple local guys hunting tonight that are probably members of your club, aren't you?
Kenny Trish. And then we got a Lee Wade, Hunt and Hook. And then we got a Willie Harrison. Yeah. And then, of course, Andy Canada's, he's hitchhiking on Willie this weekend.
he'll jump in any picture he can get in, won't he? Yeah. No, that's all good guys. So, man, just that speaks for itself. That's almost 10% of our top 27 here are guys that are pretty active members over there at your club and the history there. So, yeah, I hope. Is there anything we kind of missed glossing over the kind of the history of the club there that you wanted to hit on at all?
No, not really. Yeah. I mean, it's been there a long time.
Been there a long time. I think we talked about a lot of the influential people there. A couple of names I jotted down here that just from notes that I know anything about these guys, but guys like Gary Bunch and Frank Sims and Archie Neese and Ken Grunlock, and man, I bet there's 60 or 70 of other names like this of guys who have had such an active hand in keeping this club successful and running over the past 1953. I gotta really think about math on this. This is close. It's over 70
years. 72 years old.
72 years that Deer Creek has been a club.
Seen a lot of good guys come and go there.
Yeah, and put on so many major events. We're talking Autumn Oaks, World Championships,
We've had zones there 2 or 3 times.
Zones.
Yep.
Breed association events. You've hosted the state championship there in Indiana. Just a place that so many memories have been made and history has been made. And if you've never been out to Greencastle, it's one of the best places in the country to put on a coon hunt, still to this day, I think. So appreciate you, Doug, sitting down with me here. We got some work to do tonight, I know, but we've spent 30 minutes here talking about the history of Deer Creek, and hopefully somebody took something from it. And hey, if nothing else, make it up there. Come see you guys. Come hunt with you guys. And if nothing else, when you come up to Autumn Oaks, run over there. Or you come up on that weekend before instead of going to public land or something on your own. Run over to Greencastle and go hunt in that RQE. Have yourself some good food and some good fellowship, and have some fun. And tell those guys thank you for the hand they've had in the history of United Kennel Club and coon hunting.
All right, I appreciate it, Trevor.
Hey, Alan, I don't know if you've been messing around with this new Houndsman Advantage app at all, but I've been playing with it some, and it has some really cool features on it. One, it has the interactive scorecard view where you can assign strike and tree points at the touch of a button, and it automatically totals your scores after each set of points are scored and valued.
Yeah, no, I like it as well. Some of the features that I like is that you can access the rules and that it comes with a search function to easily find any specific rule. Also like that there's a place for your dog's registration numbers, and you can store pictures of your easy entry cards. I like that you can track 2 dogs' performances when out pleasure hunting. You'll find some analytics on your dogs. You can record their accuracy, win percentages, and a whole lot of things like that.
No more lying here on this app. The last thing about the scorecard I'll talk about is it has the summary view as well, where you can see the total points you have and the pending points that you have, along with tree timers for each dog. So it's going to come in handy for judges as well. So check it all out on the new Houndsman Advantage app. Alan, you've been feeding Eukanuba dog feed for a while now. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have, and I've really been able to put my beagles to the test, mainly running snowshoe hare up north where they run the hardest, where I put 15, 20, 25 miles on them easily in a day. And I've found that the premium performance sport has really paid dividends. Mainly, I noticed their stamina.
Yeah, same feed that I've been feeding. I think my dog looks good on it. He's really feeling good, and less kennel cleanup for me, so I highly recommend it as well.
Eukanuba, the official performance dog nutrition partner of UKC.
Thank you for listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. Be sure to give us a follow so you don't miss any of our new episodes or content.